Worked hard to buy a house for my girlfriend, but she suddenly wanted to find herself before my proposal. I'm going through a really tough time right now. My girlfriend just ended our 4-year relationship after I tried to dig into what was going on. We've built a life together. We even have a house, and I just saved up for a ring last week. Tomorrow was supposed to be our anniversary, and I'm feeling pretty overwhelmed. The situation is complicated. My girlfriend has dealt with a hereditary disease her whole life. We started dating when she was in remission, but about a year in, she got sick again. It's been a challenging journey with new treatments and health struggles, but we managed to get through it together, and our bond really grew strong. I own my own business, which allowed me to support us when she couldn't work full-time. However, success came with its own challenges. I fell into a deep depression, but she was always there for me. Unfortunately, I gained back almost all the weight I lost in high school and started drinking too much. I became more withdrawn and lost my passion for life, all while trying to keep the business going. My girlfriend has always been the kind of person who avoids confrontation and often puts others first. It was a struggle just to figure out simple things like what she wanted for dinner. Her doctors even warned me that she often downplayed how sick she felt. About 18 months ago, we made the decision to move out of the city, which had been really stressful for us. We found our dream house and I went ahead and purchased it, even though we weren't married yet. She quit her job to go back to school for something she loved, which she had wanted to do for a long time. I supported us completely during that transition, and while she felt guilty about it, it actually helped lift me out of my depression. We were thriving. She was busy with school, I was working a normal schedule, and we talked about starting a family. But then she got seriously sick last October, spending 6 weeks in the hospital. I was commuting 5 hours a day to see her, missing only 3 days of work. After surgery, she started recovering at home, but I noticed a shift. She didn't seem excited to see me anymore, and I began to panic. Despite our talks, I felt something was off. Our conversations about the future stopped, and she wasn't affectionate anymore. When I finally pressed her about it, she opened up. She had spent a lot of time thinking in the hospital and realized she wasn't living for herself. She felt terrible because I had always encouraged her to pursue her passions, but now she believed she was holding me back. She said she loved me, but felt like she needed to find herself. It was heartbreaking to hear her say she never felt at home in our house. It always felt like mine, and she was just visiting. I had asked her before where she'd like to live, and she agreed this was a great idea. But now it feels like it didn't matter. So here I am, feeling lost and alone. I've got no close family or friends nearby, and I can't even bring myself to go into the office I just set up for her new career. The paint is still drying, and I'm sitting here, sober and crying, unsure of what to do next. I'm at work right now, reflecting on everything. I have a job that nearly broke me once, and now I find myself in this house meant for our family. Money isn't an issue. I truly love this area and our home. It's my dream to live here. But it was a dream I shared with my partner, and now that feels shattered. Life is unpredictable, and I'm struggling to cope. We still care for each other deeply and are best friends, but I'm headed to our bed because I can't face the guest room. She doesn't want me to sleep alone either. We're trying to untangle our lives together, but both our families are worried about my well-being. I want to reassure everyone, I'm not going anywhere. I've never had suicidal thoughts, but I know I can't just drink my way through this. I realize she might need to leave soon, and it wouldn't be fair for me to hold on to the hope that she'll come back after some soul-searching. We've been through so much together, dealing with illnesses, the challenges of transitioning out of college and trying to find ourselves. We've cared for each other so much that we've forced our relationship to fit into the life we built, often at the cost of our own desires. I've admitted to myself that I'm more afraid of being alone in this house than I am upset about our relationship ending. This has weighed on me since we moved here 18 months ago because this place is my dream. My partner has made it clear that I shouldn't feel guilty about the life I've built, and she's right. It's not fair to blame her for not wanting the same things I do. I wish she'd expressed her feelings sooner, but I appreciate her efforts to make us work because she genuinely wanted me to be happy. She's realized she's unsure about what she wants in life. She thought she wanted a house, kids, and a family, but now she's not so sure. We've been best friends for so long, and saying all of this out loud was a relief. It doesn't mean we want to end our relationship. It just needs to evolve into something new. We decided to take this week to pack her things, and while it's sad, there's something beautiful about being honest with each other now. It's tough to close this chapter when we have so many happy memories, but we know this isn't an angry breakup. Those memories will stay with us. I've come to understand that relying on a relationship to fill a void isn't healthy. My biggest fear has been being alone, something I've never experienced before. This relationship became a way for me to avoid that fear. I know the road ahead won't be easy, but I suspect I've felt more alone in our relationship this past year than I will outside of it. We're both clear that we're still good friends. This isn't goodbye, just a change in our living situation and a new journey for both of us. I've started looking for a therapist, and my immediate plan is to focus on moving her out. Admittedly, the thought of taking her key is terrifying, and I'll miss the little things, like her shoes by the door and the tampon box in the closet. I'm not sure what to expect from this event. I've been dreading it for over a year, and the anxiety, worry, and pain it caused really took over my life. It wasn't until we separated today that I realized how much I'd been carrying. Now, I feel that familiar pit in my stomach, something that's been with me since we bought the house. But I also remind myself that it's all in the past. I genuinely feel a lot better now. I've been grappling with anxiety about the future. I had been preparing for marriage and kids, and now that plan is on hold. My ex-girlfriend and I had been living together since we decided to part ways a few days ago. It felt wrong to just cut ties abruptly after such an amicable decision, but deep down, we both knew it was necessary. As it turned out, that was the best choice we could have made. Last night, after being out for most of the day and letting her pack, I came home to find she hadn't made much progress and was visibly shaken. When she saw me, she started crying because she thought I was just pretending that we could be friends to help her through the move. It hurt her to think she was breaking my heart. This really highlighted some of her tendencies to prioritize others over herself, an admirable quality, but when it comes at the cost of your emotional well-being, it becomes unhealthy. I was determined to make sure she wasn't staying for my sake. This led to probably the most honest and healing conversation we've ever had. We sat on the couch for hours, discussing our relationship and what had happened. She realized I was completely sincere, which shifted everything for us. We both felt the same way for a long time, and once we removed the pressure of a romantic relationship, we opened up like never before. It's strange, but we've actually grown closer in this new dynamic. Our situation is complicated yet simple at its core. We fell in love, but that love evolved into a deep friendship. We tried to keep the romance alive, but after a failed proposal, it just didn't work out. She shared that she had been waiting for months, not knowing that her feelings were mutual. Years of navigating business taught me to be guarded with my emotions, so I was careful not to show my cards. Throughout our relationship, we experienced many ups and downs, with times of illness and health for both of us. I often played the caregiver role, and that dynamic made it hard to see things clearly. Our relationship sometimes felt like a parent-child one, and it became a waiting game, especially with the stress of life on hold. Even though we loved each other deeply, we often didn't assess our relationship as thoroughly as we should have. We thought we were building the life we wanted, but we didn't always consider the most critical aspect: us. Now that things are clearer, we both feel certain about where we stand. We talked a lot about the timing, especially since she had wanted to express her feelings while she was in the hospital around the holidays, but didn't want to disrupt the moment. It was a turning point for her, and I think this was the first time she truly understood that I was being honest all along. I'm right there with you on this. There never seemed to be a perfect moment to make this change. She mentioned feeling guilty about wanting us to see each other's families one last time, and that felt like a signal for me. It clarified that we weren't losing our minds. We'd just transitioned into a solid friendship. I asked her how things would have been different if we were old college friends during the holidays. We both usually spend this time with our families and friends, and aside from maybe sharing a bed instead of crashing on the floor, nothing really changes. We're close to each other's families, and those connections don't have to go away. In the end, I believe we'll remain good friends with minimal distance because that's how we've been for the past 2 years. We both feel our friendship will actually deepen now that there's no awkward pressure of romance between us, and we're both genuinely happy about that. I'll admit I'm scared of being alone, and that's my next big journey. It's going to be about taking things one day at a time. I'm not rushing into anything until I'm ready to start looking for a family, but I know I need to find comfort in my own company first. That's my priority. In my latest update, she moved out today. We always called our place a home, but I think deep down we both knew it was still just a house for us. Her whole family came to help. I've always felt closer to them than my own family. The pain I felt from our separation wasn't from heartbreak. It stemmed from the thought of losing part of my family, their friendship, their warmth, and the love I've come to cherish. They came not just to support her, but also to support me, to reassure us both that this isn't crazy. It's actually the most mature choice we could make. They came to comfort me, to remind me that we'll still share laughter around the dinner table soon enough. Most of their time was spent moving her things into the truck and helping me clear out the basement. Their love was palpable throughout the day. It's natural to wonder what happens when one of us starts seeing someone else, but we both want to see each other happy. We've navigated this relationship with a lot of guilt, often watching each other compromise to make things work. After our decision to separate, we felt a whirlwind of emotions, but we took the time to sort through years of unexpressed thoughts. Removing the pressure of romance allowed us to embrace the comfort of our friendship, and I think our relationship has never been stronger. Ultimately, we're doing this for the right reasons, and they're quite similar. I've struggled with unresolved issues in the past. My alone time often led to drinking and depression because I didn't know how to handle it. I'm afraid of being alone, and I realize I can't build a healthy relationship until I learn to be okay on my own. I've wrestled with this for years, choosing companionship over solitude, and while that decision felt easier, it wasn't the right one. I spent years caring for her out of love, but it was also because focusing on myself felt too hard. That wasn't fair to either of us. She's never truly been alone and has often sought happiness in others instead of within herself. She stayed in situations that didn't serve her because she prioritized others' needs, even choosing a college based on her parents' wishes and remaining in jobs that didn't fulfill her. Moving here for me was part of that confusion about her own desires. She won't find success in a relationship until she learns to prioritize her own needs. Thankfully, she's starting to see that now, largely because of what we shared. There's no denying our time together has been the best for both of us, and it's a profound sadness that it's come to an end. This isn't just empty talk. It's a heartfelt reflection on a meaningful chapter in our lives. As we separated and sorted through our things, we were rediscovering our individuality and independence. This past week has been emotional, filled with tears, but they were mostly happy ones. Reflecting on our 4 years together felt therapeutic and beautiful. It brought us closer as friends. We celebrated the idea that this experience is just the beginning of something even better. We have a long road ahead, and our first big lesson is recognizing that we're no longer we. I'm me, and she's herself. We spent so long living as a unit, and while it may not have been the ideal way to navigate a relationship, it was an incredible journey that we wouldn't trade for anything. We've both grown into better people because of each other, and to me that's a sign of a successful relationship. But now, it's clear that this is no longer our house, our bedroom, or our fridge. It's mine now, as I adjust to living alone. I'm working on not crying every time I accidentally say we, especially since I don't have many personal memories tied to this space yet. While that's a bit scary, I'm genuinely excited about the future. I plan to turn this house into a home, and I'm committed to facing my fears without resorting to drinking. I'll also be starting therapy to confront my past and move forward. I'm looking forward to the journey of rediscovering myself. Thank you all for your kindness and support this week. It has meant a lot to me. I think this will be my last update for a while as I dive into the next chapter of my already incredible life.